on, good people? This is yours truly, Easy Deezy, for to get into this chop shop. So yeah, Dave City was supposed to do the introduction, but he is not prepared, so that's a demerit. Make sure Ruff, make sure he gets fired up after the show. So to my media writers know my main man, Dave City's finest, Walt Della. What's happening with you, brother?
Ain't nothing, just cooling.
Okay, good stuff, good stuff. And my man, cat a corner from me with his glasses on. I like it. Okay, got the more studious look. Okay.
Yeah.
AKA Ruff Greg Dawson. What's going on with you, brother? How you feel this evening?
He about to talk crazy. I can tell. He got his glasses on.
I'm doing well, and I appreciate this opportunity to meet the people in a little bit of a different capacity.
Okay, good stuff. And actually, to his immediate
I
right,
feel like I always do my hands.
you got to mute that mic, Torres. Make sure you got that mic on like 3. Don't let it get past 5. So tonight we're doing something different. We're talking about parental rights for dads. So we actually got 2 guests coming. We got one that's en route to us, but right now our first guest to Ruff's immediate right. I've been knowing this cat here for a good little while. He do his thing on the court, and I'm real, like to say, proud of what he's doing as far as off the court with his child. So without further ado, let's give it up for Russell Brown.
I appreciate y'all having me on the show, man. I like what y'all doing, man.
Hey, I appreciate the support, man. So like I say, we all the products, me, Doss, and Waldo, as far as say having children and with the mother didn't work out. Now, just me, myself, I was not placed on child support, but I was threatened with child support. Dade City.
Yeah, I was never placed on child support, but I think it's for different reasons. Because it would have had to been like visits would have been mandatory.
Right.
So I think that's the reason, but that's just my opinion. I think that's the only reason why I wasn't placed on child support, because my daughter was out of state. So
okay, Ruff, what's your take on it?
On child support?
Yeah, I'm gonna go to Ruff. I'm gonna go to Ruff. But Ruff, we coming to you, Ruff.
Hey, Russ ready. He ready.
Russ ready.
His gun loaded.
Well, I tell people that what actually inspired me to take this route was my situation coming out of my divorce, and I tell people I definitely didn't have the intellectual acuity that I've acquired since going through this stuff, but I lost. Well, because I actually lost my rights kind of to my son. I didn't know about how to go about the fight then. And after losing him and watching the path that he and I both took, I said, this would never happen to me again. And, it's unfortunate that he went the direction he went and I went the direction I went. But I'm glad that I have this information now. But I tell all guys, the one thing that they had going for them is that I did not have this body of knowledge 30 years ago, because I probably wouldn't be sitting here right now. I'd probably be doing something totally different. Not that I regret it, but the show should be about them, because they'll tell you that what we do is beneficial and it gets right to the points, which is fathers and mothers have exact same rights, especially in the state of Florida. It's called time sharing. In fact, I know we said custody, but it's time sharing. And if you go in and fight like this young man to my right did, and Tiger, which is interesting because they're from 2 different backgrounds.
Right.
When we get Tiger in, he'll eliminate all the excuses for anybody who says they can't do it or they can't walk in and fight for themselves. And I look forward to this show.
Okay.
And coming out of the Ruff persona.
Okay.
I know you do.
So
you
Ruff,
bought your glasses today.
Yeah, it's gonna be
I
entertaining.
didn't even know you wore glasses.
So if y'all got, so if y'all got any questions, comments, feel free to jump on the Chop Shop page.
I wear them to read, but yeah. So.
Oh, okay.
And I'm writing. So.
Sounds good.
What you gonna read?
I'm reading whatever post come in.
He
finna read these baby mamas. That's what he finna read.
No, I don't. Listen, what I don't do is I don't.
Yeah,
bash,
this ain't a bash. We not bashing.
Right.
We just we're trying to get some understanding.
Provide information for everybody, because children need the cooperation of parents, and if we can,
and they need both parents.
And if we can eliminate the narrative that we all grew up with, which is the dad didn't have any rights.
Right.
I think we could help change our neighborhoods, our communities, and we could probably get back to showing more black love if we knew that we can't stick somebody in the middle. And don't make me go that other direction, but
please
keep them people out of your business.
Right.
Yes.
They've never done anything in history that has benefited us that they didn't have some staking on the other side.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
So
was that clean enough for you?
That was clean. That was good. So far so good.
Saw that.
So far so good. So Russ, just bring us up to speed, like with your situation. Was there animosity or just I got to do something? I got to be more involved in my child's life, and what we got going on right now ain't working.
Well, I mean, I had my son from the rip.
Okay.
I was always there, and I had already told myself I was always going to be there.
Right.
So as far as for what happened, I'm not going to kind of go into detail.
No, you ain't got to do that.
Just,
you ain't got to do that.
respect for his mom.
No, that's cool.
But
Beautiful.
I mean, it came a point where I was like, man, I got to get it on paper. I got to do it the right way. I understand I have rights.
Right.
I had a circle of people around me that wanted to see me succeed.
Right.
So, I kind of leaned on them for some knowledge. It was a lot of studying, a lot of reading, and I was kind of able to go to bat for myself.
Okay. And I think that's something that's very important because a lot of times, we are all products of our environment. So if you got partners in your circle that ain't really on that, man, go on, what you do, it's a lot of negative energy that comes with that.
Definitely, for sure.
But if you're around dudes that have their children, want to be in their children's life, then it's a lot more
or have
feasible.
been through it, Daryl, because
That's what I'm saying. You have been through it.
Think about when we met, we knew a couple of guys that actually were going through it.
Yeah.
And because you saw me well before this development, we didn't have any idea, and I didn't even have a son when we met.
And even I'm telling you, and it's sad to say, but I remember like back in the day, you rather kill somebody than not pay child support in Florida,
Right.
Because license gone 5 months, 29 days.
Still that way.
I'm just saying, but I just remember back in the day, it was rough,
Yeah.
I think that's where a lot of us fall short at. We just don't have the education of what we can do and, the information that's out there. At this point, I feel like you really don't have an excuse.
There you go. He said it, not me.
Think, and I'm glad Russ said, but I think something else too, though, is that if it's something that is time consuming, we want it right now. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, well, give me the game. I want you to give me the game, the night school version. I don't want to go the full year. I want the night school version. So what I got to do, and that's where a lot of people fall because lack of patience, and then the desire to put the work in to learn it and move forward in trying to.
But that comes with anything though. That's
true.
Anything you want in life,
you want
it's
a girl,
gonna
it's a process.
It's gonna
right?
be consistency and dedication is what's gonna get you that. It doesn't matter what it is.
I agree, but I think sometimes we push harder for things, and I guess just for me, because when my situation was, me and my son's mother got divorced, and walking out of court, hey, I ain't gonna be no baby daddy, you ain't gonna be no baby mama, we gonna work this out. And I think that when I had moved on, now it's like, okay, all right, yeah, okay, now it's on. So I'm like, I come home, I come home one day and there's a note on my door for child support. I'm like, but wait a minute, when we got divorced, I paid for both of our mediation. I paid for whatever the fee is, I'm gonna pay it. Because I want to match your energy, your urgency in regards to getting this done.
Right.
So let's just do what we can as parents and continue to coexist. But after that, the game just went all the way left. And I think a lot of that was due to that. And I'm not bashing women, but a lot of times that women will use their child to go back and try to hurt you.
Right. It's a tool.
You know what I'm saying? So it's a tool.
Right.
So it's a pawn in the, well, I can do this, you ain't gonna see your baby, and like, well, why be like that?
Right.
Because that's my baby.
It don't hurt you, it hurt the child, right?
Right, and that's the one that hurts the most.
Right.
And I think a lot of times, a lot of disservice has been done to, especially boys, because men need to have their and then girls too. Quiet as kept,
right?
Because you want to try to, let me show you. Because a lot of times you get a lot of girls out here with how a man's supposed to treat you. Different thing like that. Because I tell people all the time, self-esteem is something that we don't speak on a lot, but you catch young girls, 13, 14, never been told nothing. So if you catch that player, hey, I love you, baby.
Right.
For real, you love me? I ain't never had nobody, because that comes from you ain't never felt that love before. So now you in a totally different climate, totally different situation. Definitely. But that goes back to, once again, absentee fathers.
Like my homeboy said, he take his kids on trips.
Right.
Just so, because he got a daughter, I think she 15, 16 now. So just so a little boy take her to Olive Garden or Applebee's.
It's not overly impressive.
Right. She's not impressed with that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's stuff like that. Like fathers need to be there to just to guide their daughters just as much as they need to be there to guide their sons.
And I don't mean to jump suddenly, but Cam Newton spoke about that on the pivot. And Cam said, I could buy my daughter anything.
Right.
What you gonna do for her?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm willing to die for my daughter. What you gonna do for her?
Well, I think a lot of it is still the narrative was so different, and now you have access to information, which honestly we didn't have, because the only difference between me becoming what, if anybody hears me in a courtroom, and what I am now is the information. It was never the fear, and I don't want to delve off into that, but once the information, and Russ said it, once you knew, and I'm really aggressive. Russ will tell you I write aggressively.
No, not you.
And I
no
way.
No way.
No way.
Get out of here. Not you.
Well, some guys. Well, what do you say? The unassuming part. But when I coach, you're some guys can be coached hard, and some guys get defensive.
Right.
But I'm no harder than that guy across from you, or that judge across from you, or heaven forbid they have an attorney. You have to be in a particular mode because the system benefits from the animosity of the adversarial relationship. Because if people got along, think about how many people would not have a job.
Right.
You need the animosity in order for the people in the system to make a living. It's not the system doesn't need us. The system is fine. In fact, if the system wasn't what it was, you would have no answer for me. You'd have no answer for Russ. You'd have no answer for Jerome. Because we operated within the guidelines and parameters that the system has provided. You have to have something different, and I don't want to use certain words that other people will use.
What is it? I want to. The people want to know what it is that they need.
I think I don't know, because there's too many people who would. It'd be easier to get an answer from Daryl about me versus the me that he knew in the beginning.
Totally different.
Well,
Apples and prunes. Yeah, apples and prunes.
I don't know how you say it's different, but I'm wearing a hat that says that it signifies I did something and was willing to do something.
Right, you did that, but the last say, and I can just say this just from meeting you at HCC, real laid back, real reserved.
Still laid back and reserved.
But you have certain issues now that you tackle with passion. And we talk about certain things, but I know we used to go back and forth about Magic Johnson.
Who?
Mr. Magic. Okay, so we used to go back and forth, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan. Okay, that was our big debate. We go back on music, sports, but I know with the system, it's a different kind of animal that you tackle, and you go at it very, very aggressively.
Greg, I don't want to steal your thunder. I don't think you're being too aggressive or animosity, but you got to come in there with a type of intensity.
Because it's survival. When you break it down, it's survival.
Not only that, you got to understand what's on the line.
Right.
Exactly.
When I walked into the courtroom and I knew I was going for the custody of my son, I understood what was on the line.
Okay.
Period.
You know and I have peers that went through the same situation that didn't have the information.
Which is how we met, right?
And they on the other end of the spectrum.
Right.
So when you have that understanding, you got your friends, your homeboys, your partners, they on child support, and these are dudes that want to participate in their kids' lives.
Yeah.
And they didn't have access to the information.
Yeah.
That changes the whole spectrum of how you view it.
Right.
But let me say this, Russ, as a guy who does this, and I don't make a living doing this. I do this. If I had to survive doing this, I wouldn't make anything, because as Robert Sowell said, if you want to help somebody, you tell them the truth. If you want to help yourself, you tell them a lie. And I tell people straight up, when you walk in there, that person on the other side does not have your best interest at heart. And it's ultimately up to you to, what Russ did, be prepared. I can only give you information. But I'm going to say this, and I'm going to calibrate it. You and guys like Jerome, and even a couple of NBA players that you know about there, I won't say their names, they had not the money. It wasn't the money. They had a desire to see a result. And other guys, even if I give them the information, they don't have what's inside them to go and confront who we all can read between the lines. I'm going to put them on you. We have to talk about it at some point. We'll probably talk about it on my show more, because I can be a little bit more free.
But you know where that comes from?
We're afraid of these people.
No, but I'm going to tell you something else too, though. All four of us have competed. So when you play ball, you learn, you compete.
I would like to think it was that easy, but we know there's an unwritten fear, too, of who we see as the system.
Go ahead, Dave. Say what Dave said about it.
I think it's more of fear of they might get custody of the child.
Right, it's the lack of the unknown. When you don't know what you can do in that courtroom.
They might win.
Right.
And that brings a lot of fear. that brings a lot of fear into a lot. It's unknown. You've never like if you've never done this before, that could be scary for a lot of people.
But what is the other? There's something there's an underlying thing that I believe is a bigger part of the issue.
I'm not even gonna say it's the lack of the unknowns. So
we fear them others.
You hold
we fear them folks.
The conversations we hold outside on the street, or the conversations we see on social media. What do you see? The first thing somebody say, "Oh man, we get ready to go to court for custody." Well, this is geared up for a woman.
Yeah, right.
That's good. You
hear that a lot,
and that's just like when we first started speaking. That was the same information. Man, like the woman always got up. When it's not necessarily to be true. When you know your rights, y'all both got rights to that child.
Exactly the same rights, and this is a state issue. Despite what some may say, you may have fundamental and federal rights, and you can always remember camper, contraception, abortion, marriage, procreation, private education, and family relationships. These are fundamental rights that everybody has, that the state has to reach a certain standard to eliminate from you. But when it comes to Florida, which is not a custody state, it's a time-sharing state unless custody is taken. But what some guys don't understand is once you become the father, your rights are now equal. Now, before, if you're not married prior to there being an establishment of paternity, the mother would have custody. But once you become the father, the scale balances. And at that point, in order for you to lose half the time, there has to be some sort of fitness test. And of course, this is not legal advice. If you want legal advice, seek an attorney, be legal advised. But that being said, the reality is he was willing to stake a claim to not only his half, but any half that wasn't previously shown from the other side. You have the exact same rights, and anybody can go to Stanley versus Illinois in 1971. And actually, 1971 was a pivotal case when it came to fundamental rights laws in the United States. The Supreme Court heard 5 or 6 different cases regarding fundamental rights and adequate due process of law.
But I think and I want to just oppose this, you have some women that say, hey, I don't want you to give me nothing. Just get your child, which I think is strong. But I guess I was on the type of, I'm old school. See, I feel like to me, to be put on child support, you're not taking care of your child. That's court order. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong.
Your situation is different. You were married. So there are certain fundamental rights that you're going to have as a married father that unmarried men don't come to the table necessarily with unless paternity has been established. And that's what's key. And by the way, for those people who don't know this, is in the state of Florida, and by the way, I don't care what you hear anywhere else, domestic relations issues are state-based issues. Now, because the Title 40 program is a federal program, it operates under federal law. The state must operate within the parameters of whatever the block grant requirements are. But the case itself is a state case. States control everything from marriage to even your birth certificate is a state issue.
Yeah.
So if you go back and look at your acknowledgement of paternity, and I can't call the number, but it'll state what you agree to do when you sign the acknowledgement of paternity inside of a hospital, because the certificate of birth, live birth, is going to be automatic. The hospital does that. But what you need to do is pay attention to what you sign in the hospital, if you signed it, and if they want to go ahead and establish that you're the father, at that point, your rights are exactly the same as the mother.
Okay. Well, hold on real quick. I just got a notification. Our second guest is in the building, so we're going to take our first break, as we do every show dedicated to my man, Will D. Left us back here in August, man, so we still riding for you, brother. Get online. Absolutely. He got a lot of good stuff on that Cigar Life, www.cigarlyfe.com. And as I pivot back to my partner, Ruff, he don't put his glasses on, so you go let everybody know what you got going on. You so studious. Ain't he studious tonight?
Yeah.
Well, it's a different kind of show. I'm Greg Dawson. and I almost hate being in this place inside here. I like to have an opportunity to unwind, but I'm Greg Dawson, GD non-attorney pro se consultants. And what we do, as you see here, is we help people navigate through the sometimes difficult journey of courtroom presentation. And we have receipts. And if you want to know more about what we do and how we do it beyond this show, you can always go to GregDawson.com. Of course, you can find me on
Man,
Instagram.
Tell them about the Greg Dawson show, man. Tell them about that too, man. Go ahead.
Don't get shot now.
Yeah. Put your glasses back on. Put your glasses back on. I don't know who this is.
The Greg Dawson Show featuring DJ Squid. You can find me every Tuesday and Thursday night on Blog Talk Radio at blogtalkradio.com/Greg Doss. You can find me on YouTube at Greg Doss, GDNAPSC. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at GDNAPSC. And you can actually find me on TikTok at Greg Doss.
He everywhere, ain't he?
GDNAPSC.
Social.
Hey,
social butterfly.
Well, and I'm gonna tell y'all this right
they
now.
said to come to America, that boy good, ain't it?
we have about a month and probably a little bit more, because I promise you, if things work the way they're supposed to work with my federal cases, as well as the one that I hope everybody shows up for on the 9th of May, I'm out.
Okay, Mamba.
Peace.
So with that being said, we do not own the rights to his music. Torres give us. So we back about 3 minutes. We're gonna get our second guest set up. When we come back, he will be here with us.
Hey, get your crayons out. This is gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
He's gonna tell you a story about old Doss.
Go ahead, Torres. All right, we back at it. So back for the second segment of Chop Shop. Yours truly, Easy Deeds. I got my man Dave City to my right.
Let's go.
All the way up on the far left, my man Ruff, a.k.a. Greg Doss. And y'all done caught Russell Brown. So our second special guest in here, man. This is love him. Like, man, I've been knowing this guy like just in past, East Lake Ball, New Lounge. Well, something was going on. Oh, yeah, he was, well, something was going on. He was there. He was there.
Yes, sir.
He was there. I'm telling you what's funny. When you got that one word nickname, everybody know it. That one word nickname, like, yeah, I know him.
Everybody does.
Who don't know him?
Yeah.
So without further ado, man, I ain't gonna give you government. Hey, man, Tiger Space in here with us, man. So this is
Mr. No Excuses right here.
No Excuses.
This right here is one reason I almost quit, was because I said, well, man, he got it. I know it ain't.
Oh yeah,
me.
Tiger be on 8. I mean, at all times. So it don't take a lot for him to get to 10.
Yeah.
At all times. So welcome to the show, bro. Glad to have you on here, man.
Welcome,
sir.
welcome.
Yes, sir.
Welcome.
Appreciate it.
So let's get into it. We speaking about parental rights for fathers, and Dawg spoke about Russ gave his backstory. So if you don't mind elaborating on yours, what got you as far as moving forward, as far as getting custody of your children?
I was tired of them mistreating me.
Okay.
I mean, just the system.
Okay.
For us as fathers, they got us in a chokehold.
Okay.
Coming up, I didn't know anything about defending myself, speaking out for myself, anything.
So we just talked about that. Like I said, a lot of people ain't up on it.
I think I met Greg, and it really kind of pushed me to fight more for myself.
Right.
Went to this meeting they had for get your license back. Child support was spending everybody's license, get it back. So
I told you.
Me and my nephew Odell.
Shout out.
Yes, sir.
I forgot about him until he reminded me.
Brought me out there to the little seminar they had.
Okay.
So me from the street,
Right.
I'm gonna come sit down and
See what he talking about
see what he
first.
talking about. Like put some paperwork. I think like you finna do this for me.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They
Hey,
gonna-
hold on. Now, it wasn't my seminar. I was there.
Right.
But he said, he think the mindset
he
is
think he
from the
gonna
street.
show up.
From the street.
Somebody
I'm
gonna
finna
give
show
me
up,
my
yeah.
license back.
I'm finna
Right,
give
right,
my
right,
license.
right,
If I
right,
go to
right.
this meeting, somebody gonna get my
Somebody
license
get my
back.
license.
Right.
I'ma be
Where,
all right.
where I sign at.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Where I sign at.
Right. You know what I mean? What kind of arrangements y'all want to make out? You know what I mean? Or how it may be, but
Okay.
hey, he started talking.
Okay.
He started talking and it just came off kind of aggressive in the beginning.
What I
We
told
just-
you.
No.
So-
Say the word.
Hey, listen.
we just said that.
He know I don't sugarcoat nothing.
Right.
You feel me? I'm gonna give it to you like it is.
Yeah.
He came off as aggressive,
Right.
and the way I say that is because he knows of the system.
Right.
Coming from the streets, I didn't.
Right.
So when he was speaking, felt like he was speaking at me,
And
telling
not to
me
you, and not
what
to you.
I should know.
Okay.
And why. It was almost like he was asking me, like, why is you in here?
Yeah.
Like,
why you don't know this
Like,
stuff?
why-
There's a
I
room
don't know
full
it.
of people now.
You
He
feel
said
me?
there's a room full of people.
Yeah, and I took it, you know what I mean, because I wanted to know.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I kind of took it personal.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I think I was the only one I felt at that time would speak up and say something.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. He
Right.
told me if you like me, you whatever, you know what I mean? But
Whatever.
I ain't here for that.
Right.
I'm trying to get
Trying
a
to get some
little bit
understanding.
some knowledge, you feel me,
Right.
as to how to handle my situation.
Right.
You know what I mean? So after the thing, went on and I got in the truck, I told Odell, I said, man, what you brought me out here for? You know what I mean? I said, man, dude, like, speaking at us, man, like we kids or something. Like he the teacher and we in his class, like
Go put your glasses
you
back
feel me?
on,
Like,
Dawes.
telling us, you know what I mean, like what we should know. You might have had the experience, you might have had the parenting or
Right.
whatever degree you
Right.
may have studied in. At
Right.
some point, you was in my situation. You
Right.
didn't know nothing either. You know what I mean?
Right. That's the
So-
real.
Right. So later on, man, I went to talking to Odell. I said, man, let me reach out to dude, get a
Okay.
little more understanding of
Okay.
what he talking about. You know what I
Right.
mean? And when I reached out to him, he started telling me, well, you should know this. And I'm saying, like, how? How am I supposed to know this? You know what I
Right.
mean? But it made me, he wouldn't really tell me the steps,
Okay.
but he was more or less telling me, do your homework.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I'll ask him a question and he'll say, I'm going to send you something.
Okay.
He'll send me a statue. You know what I mean?
So you got to read that, yeah.
So I would read the statue, and the more I started reading into the statue, it led me to another statue.
Okay.
So now I got more questions. So now I'm hitting them back and forth like, what about, you know what I mean? And he's steady sending me the literature for me to read.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I wouldn't have got that far had I not met.
Right, but,
You know
see,
what I mean?
it's funny you say that, Ty, because I think a lot of times, and I be trying to tell him, your audience, everybody ain't gonna be the same. And I already know you from the mud, so it's like everybody in there
How long ago was that?
Right.
ain't like that.
Man, it's been Man, maybe 10 years or so.
Know what I'm saying? So everybody ain't like that. So you got to try to.
In 10 years, Greg approach still ain't changed. He did.
You see what I'm saying? You
Oh,
see what I'm saying?
Right.
Still the same approach.
Well, I be trying to tell him. I say, but you can't talk at people.
Right,
and I be trying to tell him, he be so like, it's like, I think for him, it's frustrating because I think, and I'm just speaking for him, the steps he had to take, he feel like that, what I did, everybody else, but a lot of people don't know.
Exactly.
Well, that's not where it is.
But he didn't know either. So he feels like if I can learn it, you can too.
Okay, but once again,
but at the same time, you can. But some people need that.
Right. But just
that
like
jump
Tiger
start, that battery in their back.
And that's why I do what I do.
Right.
I'm like that coach. I'm that coach, or I'm like the drill sergeant. Once you get the basic training, you have to be. I got to get you ready. Now listen. Tiger ain't told you all the stories. Now, one thing he'll do, and Russ will tell you, I might be up at what did your dead, blessed dead say? What do you say about somebody that sends something to you in the middle of the night or something? You say,
oh yeah. I be dead asleep. I get a notification. Who ain't nobody got no business texting me. You know what I mean? No 3 in the morning. Yeah. You know what I mean?
About
especially,
what?
By anything. If it ain't no emergency, you know what I mean? Especially, you in a relationship or whatever, you know what I mean? And now she want to know who texts you at 3 o'clock in the morning, you feel me?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's a problem.
But he would send me the literature, you know what I mean? And I roll over and I look at it, and I had to learn to stop. Like, just put the phone back down, because once I start reading it,
you gonna be up all night.
I'm up.
Like he doing.
You know what I mean? Right. You know what I mean? So, I would pick up the phone, I would look at it, but I would kind of like put the phone down, and sometime that next morning, I would read through it. You know what I mean?
Flashbacks all over again, man. You gotta get you some new moves, man.
Yeah, man. You know what I mean?
It's the thing with him, though, but he'll sit
run the ball.
And that's why I try to tell. It's like you say, in relationships, your phone going like, well, that's who taking you this late?
Exactly.
And then you say that's dogs. Like everybody ain't going for that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the thing is, he bought into it, and I appreciated him. I didn't even look at it as a project. This is the way I coach. You think about the guys who are great, whether they're musicians or anything else. Do you think they go in from a 9 to 5, or do you think they're saying they're creating whenever the creation comes? So sometimes I would get up and I'd be moved by either the spirit or whatever people want to call it, and it would come to me because I know what my battle is, and I know what theirs is. So if I get some information I think could be that they could absorb and beneficial to them, because at the same time, you're talking about 3 different characters also, or personality traits with the 3 of us, and I've had many people. And his ability to go in there and not be afraid, if he has information, which I didn't do what Tiger's done in there. Tiger put his feet up on the desk.
Yeah, man. Hey, listen.
But you want some understanding, like I said, and then you have to
tell him why, Tiger.
It comes a point in time, like I say, see, we grew up differently.
Right.
Somebody, whatever motivated him to understand this,
right.
child support thing or whatever it may be, that was him. You know what I mean?
Right.
I was educating myself in the street.
Right.
You know what I mean? Chasing the money, taking care of the family.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I get it.
So we was 2 different people.
Right.
You know
2 different paths. Right. Exactly.
2 different paths, you know what I mean? But it came down to, man, with me, every time I had a situation, I'm going to pay the lawyer. This is my mouthpiece.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Because you paying him, because once again, from the street, I'm going to let you take care of it. That's what you get paid to do.
Right. That's what you went to school for.
Right.
I'm paying you my money. You're supposed to defend me to the best of your ability.
Right.
You feel me?
Right.
But it wasn't happening that way.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It just seemed like the attorneys, you know what I mean?
Wait, hold on now. The views and opinions do not necessarily represent those of Greg Dawson, non-attorney pro se consultants.
Well, I'm speaking from experience. It's funny you say that. I caught a case, and it was so funny is that the attorney that I was turned on to gave me a fee, paid the down payment, so I got to go to court, paid again, push it back. Once he got paid, they threw the case out, and I'm just like, okay,
right.
They couldn't do that off the rip.
No, he needed his money.
But he got to get his money.
That's what I'm saying.
He could have got his money. Like I said, I'm like, yeah, you could have just said, hey, give me this.
Right.
And I could have maybe tried to work, took a loan, and just said, been through with it.
Let me help you out with that. Anybody out there, and this is what I used to tell people when I first started, I think you already have it. Both of y'all should. You might not have it because it's raw law by Muhammad Ibn Bashir. I tell everybody to get that book, Raw Law, Rawlaw. Muhammad Ibn Bashir, Esquire, and it would give you the background as to how attorneys think, and it's beneficial. Now, I have a long history within the court system, and I had to tell people I didn't drop off the bus knowing this stuff. I've had my behind kicked several times.
But it took you to go through something, just like Tiger said.
Took me to get
you
fed
got
up.
to get hit. You
We
got to
all
get
had
hit
to
in the
get
mouth.
You
fed
got
up.
hit in the mouth, but like I say, but Tiger, and going back to what he was saying, because I would have been that same way.
Right.
If I'm jammed up, okay, well, man, well, I'm finna go see what this dude talking about.
Well, I did
It'd probably be in there sitting there like this.
So,
Right.
And if you ain't got me never me to sign, then like, bro, what we this a waste of time. What we doing?
so
out
I
here?
got my pops, my stepdad. He was going through the child support, but he got a lawyer. But he got a lawyer that used to work for child support.
Right.
So when he got his lawyer, he was going because his baby mama was trying to raise his child support. By the time
upward modification.
Yeah, so by the time the case was over, he had custody of his daughter, and she was on child support at the end of the trial.
Right.
Okay.
So that can happen as well.
But
Well, look, back
he had,
to
I'm just saying, he had a good lawyer. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
that really
right.
fought for him. You know what I'm saying?
and you don't find that often enough. You know what I mean? You don't find it, but like I say, with me from the streets, whether it been criminal charges or whatever, you know what I mean? I got the bail bondsman on standby.
Yeah,
you know, I got, you know what I mean? I
too.
got the attorney on lock. You know what I mean?
Yes,
so
sir.
when I get in a situation, I feel like if you got my money,
You gotta take care of it.
you're supposed to be taking care of it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
that's your job.
It's like, okay, it's like my attorney.
I hope
and
the camera
Doss.
is I hope the camera's
You know
really
what I mean?
looking at
It's like
Tiger when he talks.
the
He's serious.
attorney and Doss.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I got you.
Doss trying to tell me what I should know.
Right.
You my attorney. You supposed to be telling the court people.
Right.
You know what I mean? My rights, defending
Right.
me. You feel
Right.
me? So it wasn't happening that way. You know what I mean? And just paying them. When I start talking with Doss, I started reading up more. And just so happened I had a custody case that I was dealing with.
Okay.
You know, for my son.
Okay.
In the beginning, it was, you know, it was bitter. You know, me and her was, you know, back and forth, whatever. You know, I want custody, she want custody. You know what I mean? Like, this ain't gonna work because we didn't get along as people.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that always makes it bad for the kids.
Right. They don't
You know what
want
I
to
mean?
suffer.
Yeah.
Right. So I had this case coming up, and I'm asking him, saying, man, I got to go to the mediation, this and this, and he was sending me these statues, and I'm up late night reading. Now I feel like Doss. You're like, I want to text you 3 o'clock in the morning, and you know what I mean? You feel me? You know what I mean? And
But I answer, right?
Right.
Okay.
And
He'll never sleep.
it was a thing, man. That and he told me, you know, the hearing officer is the hearing officer. It's not the judge. You know what I mean? The mediation. You know what I mean? They get you in there, and you know, in mediation, they want to tell you what you can and can't do, and you got to do this and do that. You know what I mean?
I forgot
And
about this too. I forgot
right.
you did that. I forgot
So
about that. Yeah.
well, I had to go to mediation, and the lady telling me this and telling me that, and I'm saying, I sit back and I start thinking. I said, ma'am, who is you? You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like you know what I mean?
Who is you?
Who is you?
Right. Okay. How
You
she
know-
responded?
Got real quiet.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So then she wanna discuss with my son's mother in private, and then she wanna pull me. I said, you don't have to talk to me in private,
Right.
because we ain't here to mediate.
Right.
You know what I mean? I said I didn't feel like I wasn't disrespecting you.
Right.
But I was just letting you know that you can't make no decisions for me. You're not the judge. You know what I mean? You the mediator.
Right.
So I kind of sat back, you know what I mean, kicked my feet up, and she just looked at me and got real, like, I think he may know a little something.
Right. So that's so
you
that,
one of them
so
smart
that
AR
changed-
Negroes.
Yeah. So
You
that, so that changed everything now.
It changed the game for me.
Right.
He make
You
it
know what I mean?
real clean because I know what the real
Yeah.
uncut version was.
Right.
Right.
You know,
He said, you can do this, or we can do this.
right.
And then he put his feet up.
Right, because see, I already had it wrote. I'm down. You know what I
Okay.
mean? I'm in here with my notes.
Okay. You ready?
You know what I mean? So
sir.
yeah, so I told him, I say, you know, listen, we can go this path, or we can go this path. You know what I mean? But
Okay.
the path that you trying to tell me that I got to go down, we not doing that.
Okay.
You feel me?
Right.
My son's mother, she was sitting across from me, and she was just looking like, well, why we? And I say, no, it ain't. Listen, either we were gonna go with this way,
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm gonna get full custody. You, I mean, we gonna 50-50, however it may be. But the terms that you want me to agree to, it's not happening.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So the mediation was like, I learned that thoughts.
Right.
Whatever you say in that mediation room, they can't give it to the courts so the courts can have like prejudice. You know what I mean?
Right.
Use it against you, right?
You feel me? Use it against
So
you.
they can't even give it to the court.
They can't. It's confidential. Whatever's said in that room.
The good thing about that though, Tiger, that you had the information, and just like you said, when the lady first came at you, kind of like you say, talking at you, you don't know nothing. So then when you shot back with, and you hit it with that, that's like, no, you had to draw folks. She looking like, huh? Like,
yeah, but that's kind of like what I was talking about earlier. When you go into that system, you don't know. You're already kind of scared. Like, damn, I might lose my kid, lose my kid, whatever the case may be. Yeah. And you got a mediator in there acting like they the judge.
Man, exactly.
So you like, man, what am I gonna do?
And Tiger said, "Who is you?"
Yeah, man, and you know what I mean. And it was.
I'm pretty sure it wasn't that kind.
Coming from the streets. You know what I mean. When we go in that courtroom, man, we before the judge.
Right.
You know what I mean. It's like our fate lies in the hands of him. Our freedom or whatever. You know what I mean.
Right.
Him, her, whoever it may be.
Exactly.
That case. So we more or less be so humble.
Right.
You know what I mean. So when they start talking jail or anything else, now you got to think about your priorities. You know what I mean. What you know what I mean. How the family gonna make it. You know what I mean. While you away.
Yeah. While you away.
You know what I mean.
Right.
So when I was younger, I would kind of humble myself and kind of take or accept
What they giving.
what was given
Right.
to stay free.
Right.
They used to skate with the 5 months, 29 days, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Your license suspended. Okay, well, I just ain't have no license. You know what I mean? We was going to drive with no license. And
Yeah, because I don't need no license to
I
start
don't
the
ever
car.
drive. Yeah.
Right.
All I need is keys.
You know what I mean? Right. So it became once I got to a certain point, and I'm saying, like, why I'm spending all my money on these lawyers?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm saying what my lawyer should be saying. And I had a lawyer
Okay.
and fired him.
Okay.
Hey,
I
that was
fired
his choice.
I fired the attorney because
But you do have that right.
You got
I
that
do
right.
have
Yeah,
that
you
right.
got that right.
Absolutely.
Because see, now that I'm reading the literature for myself, you know what I mean? That Dawson's given to me, provided for me. You know what I mean? It's now, you know, you sit in there and you say, well, I'm telling the lawyer, like tapping him. Statue, da-da-da-da-da. You know what I mean? Like, you ain't addressing it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But now
So he ain't even telling the statue that Dawes done sent
he
you.
ain't even telling. So now it's like I gotta, you know, Your Honor.
What I
You
do
know what I mean?
for-
It starts-
So I object.
You know what I mean?
Instead-
Right, because it almost made me feel like
That word is important, by the way.
like who team you on.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I know that I can be aggressive. So
No.
if you
But,
yeah,
but,
yeah.
I'm saying, but I'm saying, Tiger, but in your defense, I'm paying you
Right.
to do something and you not doing
right.
it
But
for that result.
for that result.
this is a black man's fear as well when you in a situation and you paid your attorney. You have to humble yourself
Absolutely.
because your freedom lies in his hands.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I would do that for so long.
Right.
But now I'm tired of the system beating me up.
Okay.
I'm tired of the attorneys taking my money.
I gotta fight
Like,
back now.
You know what I mean? Like, listen, you gonna say this or you not. You know what I mean? The judge looking at me like, you know what I mean? I'm saying like, can we get a recess or something? Because we need to talk.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, why you ain't bringing up this and, you know what I mean? Like, to better my situation.
Right.
Why we ain't on
You
the
know what I mean?
same page, right?
Why we ain't on the same page, but you got my money. Like, you said you didn't pay them at all. I'm paid in full.
Right.
So now I need
You already
You
the
feel
whole
me?
case on
You
deck.
supposed to be working.
right.
You supposed to be working.
I think in fairness to to people out there, because I don't want to, I'm imagining how this is being taken by some people. We also go through scenarios when I speak to you, like, you know, because you're on board now, so we go through scenarios. So nothing should have been so surprising to you, even when you said you went into one proceeding. I don't want to get into much of the detail. That they didn't know that you filed. 'Cause I don't file anything for you, but you filed.
Right.
And it stopped the proceeding when they were trying to enforce because you said, and then she had to go and say, wait, we can't even proceed because you're ahead of the game. Your situation is a little bit different.
Right.
But
You know,
it's everything that goes into this stuff.
It was fun because when I was in the hearing with the judge or whatever, me, you know, we all in a courtroom or whatever, and so now I'm speaking from a different how I say, I'm speaking from a different era. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a little more knowledgeable now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you
like,
got your chest out.
You're in a different place. You're in a different
right,
place.
You feel me? Like,
you can now. The
you know what I
information
mean?
makes you Tiger now.
The information
now
makes
Tiger
me,
now.
you know what I mean?
Now
Like,
you
know what
be
I
you.
mean?
I can be
Right,
you.
like, you mean like, you know,
I got what I need now.
The attorney gone. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? It's me, you, her, and the people in there. You know what I mean? Let's
She
run
ain't
it.
had no attorney?
She did in the beginning. But you know, I get them know what she got a little slick mouth, so they probably had some whatever they was going on or whatever. She was trying to push the lawyer. Once I became knowledgeable, her trying to push the lawyer to make me accept something wasn't working. So now he's telling her like, we're gonna have to set this off. And every time he set it off, it was costing more money.
Right.
So eventually, her attorney, wasn't there no more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now you got me, a little more knowledgeable to what's really going on with my own case.
Right.
Because I've been reading the literature,
Right.
you know, and I'm addressing the judge, you
Right.
know, with these statutes. And so now everybody's kind of like looking at me. And he stopped. He stopped and asked me who wrote this up for me. You know what I mean? Like where did, like, you know what I mean?
How'd you learn this? How'd you get this?
Right. And I wouldn't put Dawson's name out there, you know what I mean?
You just did to the whole world.
And I right. You know what I mean? Yeah, you're right. You know what I mean? But at that time, I just told him, I say, listen, you know, because I'm trying to learn more for myself.
Right.
You know, we do a paralegal, you know.
Which is no problem in the state of Florida.
Right. You know,
There's no problem for anybody to prepare the paperwork.
Group of guys, black men.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I said, we have classes, we study. You know what I said? So I'm more
Hold on.
prepared.
NAACP versus Button, members of the same class can get together to resolve an issue without being charged with unauthorized practice of law. But you can go ahead.
Yeah, you mean, so now, see, he'll throw you off.
He got his glasses on.
You know what I mean? Yeah, but
He got
you know,
his glasses on.
He a teacher.
yeah,
my
but
guy
you know,
glasses
it
on.
just it's
Professor Dawson.
at the end of the case, we ended up
Yeah, you got what you want.
with 50-50 custody. You know, we ended up 50-50 custody. She didn't like it. You know what I mean? I'm kind of settled for it. You know what I mean? Because I know they ain't gonna just let me win. And you know, at this point, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
they ain't gonna just give it to me. You know what I mean? But I learned that if you are a father, that the courts want you to be in that child's life.
Right.
So in the beginning, you know what I mean? They on her side.
Right.
You know, they on her side
That's what I said in the
because
beginning,
yeah.
because we wasn't speaking up for ourselves.
Right.
It wasn't so much as they was on her side. You know what I mean? They carried the baby 9 months. So I give her that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You
She
know,
came in there with her chest out. You ain't got your chest out.
right. You know what I
Right.
mean? So you know, we always think as the courts is not for us black men anyway.
Now I'm gonna ask you this if I can. Are y'all in a better place, you and her, than
We
where
are.
y'all were? Okay.
We are.
That's cool.
We are. And it's you know, I didn't even see it playing out the way it did.
Okay.
I did.
We got 50-50 custody, and cause she's she's a case now.
Okay.
You know, she's a case.
We're not going bad.
She ended up, you know, we had it split down to the time sharing. So he'll stay with me 1 week, go to school.
Okay.
I drop him off, you know what I mean, at school on Friday. She'll pick him up on that Friday.
Okay.
You know what I mean, and he'll stay with her that week. So
Next Friday. you
next
go get
Friday,
her.
you know what I mean?
Okay.
And out the blue, she just up, switched their school. I switched their school, I get the text message. Now, I know now that this is a court order, you know what I mean?
You can't do that.
Yeah.
And you in violation.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I didn't know this. I would
Right.
let it slide.
You just go with okay. The way you go to
I'm
school.
on
Okay.
the phone. I've been on the phone with Doss.
Okay.
Listen,
Contempt of court.
We need to file us contempt. How I go about doing this? You know what I mean? He'll send me the information. Now we back in the court addressing the judge.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Now you violated your terms. This what you agreed to, but you violated. You know what I mean? So now you finna weigh it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I ended up with full custody. She was late to the hearing. So the judge asked me what did I want. At that time I said, well, she violated the terms of the agreement. I want full custody.
Oh wow.
You know what I mean? Because his education was more important to me
That's good stuff,
than,
man.
than me and her
That's all
bickering.
right, yeah, man.
You know what I mean?
That's
You know what I mean? Yeah. So
That's
so
good stuff, though.
I got full custody.
So Let me ask, you put on child support?
No, I didn't.
We don't do that.
I didn't. You know what I mean?
Listen,
I ain't gonna lie to you. I never thought about that.
Say this.
Right.
Go to 61.3 to Florida statutes. I think it's 8, subsection 8. But once you exceed the 20% of overnights, it's mandatory that you deviate from the guidelines. So the further that you move toward 50, the more negotiating power that you have.
But the thing is, big bro, a lot of people, like I say, just like Tiger said, and Russ said the same thing, the knowledge.
Right.
But
So when you say it, it sounds so clean coming from you.
They're going to say this. Let me say this right here. They chose, and I appreciate him, and I try to get Dola wouldn't come. Because these guys invested and believed in me. They believed in me.
Right.
And,
I believe in you, Doss.
and in themselves. Well, they went there. And I'm like, I was saying, I wanted there to be 895,000 to me. Because, see, then you would see the change that we need.
Right.
But if it has to start with guys like this, and we're all older guys,
right.
I'm looking for somebody 24, 25 to be me. Because could you imagine them dealing with us at 24, 25?
But you got young bros out here dealing with that same issue right now.
No. I mean, with the desire to go in there and shake the table.
That's a little more what I was talking about as far as that fear of they might win.
Right.
It's a lot of dudes they terrified of that. Even they want their kid, but they still want the mama to be there. Like, you know what I'm saying? They still want.
Right.
No, I don't think there's as many guys. No, there's a lot of guys. I know a lot of guys that want custody. Listen, when my guy
won't custody their kid, then.
But it's a lot. Like I said,
I'm saying it is a lot of guys. I'm not saying it's not guys that don't want. But I'm saying the guys that.
Why you think it's like that?
I don't know.
I think
let me help you out empirically.
Yeah.
Let me help you out empirically. More black men are the most involved fathers in society.
Yes,
period.
I agree.
There's no doubt about it.
That's not even no issue.
And from empirical statistical data, the child's betterment financially, psychologically, and emotionally is tied to their relationship with their father.
It is.
So this notion that men don't want to be involved by a lot.
So I'm not saying they don't want to be involved. I'm saying the fear.
Right.
Like being a parent is frightening.
I don't think they're afraid of it. I think they just didn't know.
The death.
Well, and that's again what I was coming to earlier when I was saying, like, when you go to child support court, you agree because you're scared you're gonna lose a child, or you're scared they're gonna give you 5 months, 29 days. You know what I mean? I didn't even know how to go for a modification. I got several cases.
Okay.
So as a black man, how do you expect for me to pay $328, $450, $329, $600 on this? You know what I mean?
Right.
On a job. You know what I mean?
Right.
How I'm supposed to survive?
Right.
You know what I mean?
So it's not set up for you to win if you go in. Let me like he just spoke about. He counted up $1,600. That's $1,600 with my math.
How you doing that fast? You got to calculate up though.
Right.
I got my glasses. I left my glasses at home.
Right.
Yeah, but your ears still work.
Right, but I'm saying, but with like he just spoke about.
I'm calling my aunt on you now.
Exactly.
We'll do that now.
You got 4 cases, $1,600. So like you say, what working man? Legally working man got that kind of money available to them.
I'm glad he raised that issue. And here's where a lot of guys could probably be helped. And again, it's not legal advice, but get your crowns out. Your order has to be based upon something that is proven. So there should be an evidentiary hearing. And their presumptions, you don't have to give them anything. They have to rely on what's legitimate evidence. And we all know that attorneys can't present evidence. We also probably are aware that, most guys aren't aware if you go to 12.040 of the Florida Family Law Rules of Procedure.
He do this every week, Tiger. This every week. We're going to get that.
An attorney in his C2, an attorney that makes an appearance in a case under these rules, which would be the Florida Family Law Rules of Procedure, will give a notice to both parties that the attorney does not represent the recipient of the service. The attorney represents the agency. Hence, I would argue that when they say they come on behalf of the mother, until the mother has acquired a behalf, that may be an intentional misrepresentation.
You got to explain the behalf.
They can always come to me. You can find me at gregdoss.com.
Okay.
Not to get off the subject, but let me ask you this: who is the Department of Revenue?
State agency.
The state.
Okay. Well, who signs the order? you send me something in the mail saying that my license will be suspended.
Generally by an administrator, some sort of administrative
you know
officer. Generally speaking, but but before they take
my license good.
Before they take your license.
No, yeah, I'm just speaking, you know, generally.
Are you
I
asking
mean,
me so I can answer for these people?
Yes, I'm asking you. I'm asking you because
put your glasses back
people
on.
People
you
don't
character
know.
right now.
If the department is an agency, somebody has to be the head of that agency to say that Mr. Spates is in violation.
Right.
You feel me?
Right.
Justin
You send me something saying Department of Revenue. I open it up. I don't see it. Don't say
Judge
Doss.
Revenue.
Right.
It don't say, you feel me?
It just say Department of Revenue.
Just Department of Revenue.
Well, that's 322.048 or 5 of the Florida statutes will go to an administrative canceling of your license.
That boy good, ain't he?
You see, he'll throw y'all when you start using those big words.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned
legal
that, 'cause
terms.
One
Right,
thing
right,
about
right.
this
The local
whole
legal
process
expert.
is about knowing the process, understanding, and I can see this a little bit, preparing for the appellate process, and also understanding the language of law. Even if you don't, one thing, and I'm glad Jerome is here, and I ain't being funny because we talk all the time, I laugh at it. When it comes out of him, he doesn't sound like you all claim I sound, but one thing Jerome does, now Russ does because it's just his general nature, he understands the language. How he decides to do his dissertation, they on the other side know because, by the way, you're entitled to liberal construction anyway.
But see, it's funny you say that because Russ is like real laid back. Tiger be crunk. So that's what I say. Like, Russ is so cool. Like, Russ the type, like, if you just say we out somewhere, if Russ know, you be like, hey, what's up? You know, it's real. Russ don't get loud. He just real laid back. Hey, what's up, D? What's happening? And Tiger,
yeah.
What's up, homie? Hey, what's up, that boy? You know, Tiger don't do it like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
But that's just how Tiger is. You know what I'm saying?
Two different
Right.
personalities.
But you know what I mean? But when you in that courtroom, no matter how, you know what I mean, you feel about other situations, but when you in that courtroom, man, it changes the game for you. You know what I mean? Because it's like not that courtroom is one thing that always have fear of. Because I feel like I ain't gonna win. You know what I mean? But like I say, coming to a standpoint where I started met Doss, I started, reading. My case came into a bigger situation because I became more knowledgeable.
Right.
You know what I mean? So now, you know what I mean? Now it's, well, I owe this arrear.
Right.
I owe this much child support.
Okay.
Now, back in the time, they would just go based off my child support off of minimum wage.
Right.
So to say, that's what the court said.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Court order, yeah.
Court order.
Right.
But now you're telling me that I got to pay this amount. So now, what we got to do about this? Now I'm filing papers in the court.
Okay.
About how much I owe a month because
Allegedly.
Okay. That's his word. That's what.
Where do y'all come up with these?
allegedly.
Where do y'all come up with these numbers at?
61.135 when you start talking about them applying it to your credit and what have you. But go ahead.
Right, but how do you come up with these numbers? And
Florida
I don't
statutes.
have a child support time sharing agreement.
Okay.
If I got my son 40% of the time and she got him 60 or 70-30, how does it balance out? Who's coming up with these numbers?
Where they come from?
And
Where they
once
come
you,
from.
and once you get
The
beyond
Department of
20,
Revenue, the
once you
person
get
that
beyond,
ain't signed your.
That math don't be mathing.
Yeah.
Right. It don't matter.
here's where you have fundamental due process
Hold on
issues.
before you do that. We got to pay bills. So if we take
Oh, my
our
fault.
lab right now, you good. This is going to be brought to you by the Auto Repair Center, 7101
Uh-oh.
North 40th Street. Carlos Martin, 813-443.
Kevin Durant, 0-7 when
Yeah,
he's scoring 30 points. Carlos.
he on the Suns. He on
Okay.
He been gave them
he
up.
say he's on the Grizzlies and the Bucks.
Oh, they both took L's. Both took L's.
Yeah, so
Took big
One of
L.
them.
yeah, he tough right now. 813-443-4730.
Yeah,
and you see what we rocking,
Young
Big
back
Day
out.
City and
Brand new.
yeah, we got some new apparel.
How we do it?
WEDZ. We do it easy.
Okay.
Coming out July 1st, online, internet radio. We're going to change the game.
You
Good
heard?
old school music.
You heard what he said?
Random shirts, 813-400-7015.
And I'm
Torres,
gonna be
give
at
us
And I
some.
Essence.
appreciate the
July 1st.
design, Miss Newton.
So what?
Gonna be
Miss
at
Newton.
Essence Festival July 1st.
Okay, now we can use shout out.
Miss Newton.
Me
This
and
is an
Russ is the
outstanding
guest.
design.
So I asked why we had no shirt.
Yeah,
Oh, we'll get to that.
You know what I mean, baby?
All right, we back at it for the last segment of Chop Shop. We got our special guest in here with us. I got my man Dave City, Walt Dilla stand up. Also, AKA Ruff, Professor Dawson here with us tonight. He got his he doing this set without his glass. You doing glasses on, glass? What you doing?
You ain't
Glasses on, glasses on. How we doing this last segment?
Well, if I need to read something, if I write something, we can do whatever. My phone kind of died.
Man, I've been doing shows with Dawson. I ain't never had no glasses.
I ain't know he had glasses.
Made prescription
Yeah,
artist.
they go to talk about their child support.
Yeah,
but
but
he
it's
ready.
cool. It's all ball. I ain't tripping. And our special
They real
guest got
stylish.
yeah, we got Tiger Space and Russell Browder here kicking it with us tonight. So and I guess something that really sticks out like we were talking about, on the break. Fear of failing as a father. But I just think for me, when I had Kobe, that gave me motivation to do better and try to provide them a good quality of life, because that's what it's about. It's about the kids, and I think sometimes that when we separate and part, if she moves on and finds somebody.
Divide?
Yeah, just divide. Yeah, I mean, whatever, split up, she go her way. Like I told,
we're good, Mr. Matt.
And I guess my thing is, I kept it so G with my first wife. I met her new friend, and I let them know, bro, I ain't fighting traffic about her. So just my obligation is my child. That's it.
No, we went
so but I'm just being for real though. So whatever y'all got going, but my child is, I'm about my child. So I ain't finna never. What's up? Can we get back? I wasn't on that. You know what I'm saying? So I think sometimes that's always something that becomes.
I think there's a stigma that seems to float, but I believe more guys are in the position of the two gentlemen to my right, and they may lack the information. I think most guys want to be involved, because I know these are just two of the guys that showed up.
Right.
But I have 24, 25 guys that I know I've helped, and we know of a couple of prominent guys that I've helped.
But I think some of the
NBA ball players
right.
who didn't think the same way.
Right. But piggybacking on what Tiger and Russ said, Russell said the fear of the unknown.
Right.
And then Tiger said the fear of being in the courtroom.
Yeah, but not a fear of being a dad.
No, not a fear of being a dad, but like
or
you said,
a full-time dad.
But the steps you got to take.
I think that's fearful too, though.
Yeah, it is. Like I say, but the steps you got to take to get there.
Right.
I think what my mindset was, I felt like the courts was always going to be on the woman's side anyway. So with me,
that's what I said.
With me just coming into that situation, feeling that way already.
Right.
You know what I mean? A lot of other things played a part of the issue too.
Right.
Okay. I'm a black man. I'm in the streets.
Right. And then something else too, Tiger. I don't mean to cut you off. You ain't got nobody in your circle that done did this before.
Right.
So when you had, I keep trying to tell you, but ain't nobody been, but like you said, but ain't nobody out his crew, his clique. I know his crew and his clique.
Right.
Ain't nobody been down there for child, for custody of their child. So if you the first one that go out, it's always gonna be like, man, you think
how you did that?
How you did that? You see, like what you spoke about with your partners.
Now your boy wanted custody. I think.
Shout out to Whitney Nicole in the comments.
Okay, Whitney, we gonna catch you in a couple weeks.
Everything played a factor as when I come in the courtroom, because now I'm in the streets. Right. I ain't filing no income tax. You know what I mean? I'm just being 100.
But your life, your way of life is different.
It's different, but now
different.
Again, me walking to that courtroom and thinking already that everything is against me. Everything is negative.
Right.
When I'm in that, everything's negative, because now she gonna say, well, I work at
I know where.
You know what I mean? Such, you feel me? Like gainful employment, like you know what I mean? So
Suncoast Credit Union.
At what point does a dollar amount that they set upon you make you a good or bad dad? Now you just try to tell me that because I can't pay this, that I'm not capable of loving my child.
Take care of your child.
You know what I mean? I think the love for the child is way more valuable.
It definitely outweighs the dollar.
You know what I mean?
And the system showed that for you too when you said she was late to the proceedings.
Let me say exact same words. You're like, that money don't mean nothing. He take care of the child. He take care of the child.
Yeah.
Well, support is not defined within the statute as being reduced to a monetary contribution.
Right, it's not monetary.
More importantly, back to 12.040. I'm giving it to them for free now. They in the child support hearing, they can't even address the issue of time sharing.
Right.
So many of these orders, guys, and you can go back on your own, and I want to get into something a little bit further because there's a lot of disinformation out there. If there is no time sharing agreement, which Florida statutes, and you have to go to your own state, because no matter what anybody tells you, each state's rules are their own set of rules. When you hear people talk about states' rights, and anything not otherwise expressed in the first 8 amendments, are already going to be reserved to the states. And you go to 9 and 10 for confirmation on your amendments. But the reality of it is that people becoming informed makes you a dangerous and a different animal.
But once again, it's the information.
Well, but what did Russ say earlier? And I got my man with me now. You ain't got no excuse.
Right.
I told him. Did I tell you? I said I'm quitting. I said I'm
Russ
done.
said today? What you said earlier, Russ? Today?
Still today.
When Jerome when Tiger was done, I'm like, I'm done. You vindicated me. So it ain't me. It's the desire within the individuals. But you have to become aware of your state's laws. What I was saying again is if you have to have a time sharing agreement to be a basis for the establishment of support, if you didn't have one, you may have a due process issue because I don't want to give you any legal advice.
But like you said, but how many bros are up on that?
I got my formative education in Biloxi, Mississippi. No offense, Biloxi, but I got from 4th to part of 9th grade. I was in Biloxi, Mississippi. Excuse me, and you're talking about from 70 to 81.
Okay.
We can learn. Listen, didn't nobody teach us how to scam. Ain't nobody teach us how to cut nothing. Ain't nobody teach us how to waste stuff. Ain't nobody teach us how to make sure we don't get shorted.
I feel you. I feel what you're saying.
By the way, we built the pyramids and we established civilization.
Okay,
all they doing is copying something we did some other time.
But I think a lot of times with people, they're like Tiger spoke earlier, people want right now. They want it right now. So the process is what I think throws people off. Cause like I ain't gonna win anyway, man. I ain't finna do that. Like you say, it's you investing in something.
But you won't win if you don't have the knowledge.
Right.
Like he said, I'm sure he went into that meeting and like he said, he had a lawyer and he felt like things wasn't going his way. So as he's learning, as he's educating himself, it gave him more confidence.
Right.
So once he in there, he talking to them people how he, not how he want to talk to them, but how he can talk to them because he know.
Now I know
what he need to say to them.
Now. Yeah, I got it now.
And that's gonna build his confidence. You know what I'm saying? Even more, so he can just explain what he trying to do or what he gonna do. You know what I'm saying? So it'll give him more confidence and just allow him to be himself in that situation.
But we do scenarios with you know I don't teach anybody anything necessarily. I coach because there's a part of our process that we provide what I call alpha training. It's once you have the information, if it's inside you, it's gonna come out because you're gonna now defend knowing you have something to defend with. And what I want to tell everybody out there, because I don't want to lose this, having an understanding, and these guys will verify this, having an understanding of the background of the system and how it worked is one thing. But if you couldn't focus on the issue, the rules that affect you, having the ability to come up with some sort of legal analysis and a legal conclusion to what you want, it's not going to win for you because no one, this is when they started the process, United States codes, these things. That stuff is great to know, but when you're inside there, you better focus on your opponent, whatever your issue, in Iraq is what they call it, even in law school, issue, rule, analysis, conclusion. What's the legal issue? What is the rules or rules? What kind of legal analysis and what kind of conclusion can you come to that's going to merit you the relief that you're seeking? And by the way, I meant to say this also. In most of these cases, when there's not a husband and wife situation, most of these petitions to establish support start off with the two parties met, two parties engaged in intercourse. From the intercourse, the two parties had a child. The child's entitled to support. The court should issue an order granting support. They never said what you did. And this is my truest indication. Don't look at me like that, Daryl, that I'm quitting. They didn't state a claim for which relief could be granted. You get hit in a car accident. On this date, you was at this place at the same time and date. Russ was at this place at the same time and date while you at the red light. Russ hit you in the back. Russ is the proximate cause of your injury.
Right.
We can all look it up. Consensual sex is not a tortious act.
I
don't know how to spell that.
It's not. In other words, it's not an intentional injury. It's not an intentional injury. And the reason I use these words and these guys will tell you is because if I just speak to you the way we speak in any other context, it wouldn't help y'all when you go to the courtroom, would it?
No, it won't, because you'll get in there and they'll be talking to you like that, and you'll be
I've heard
like
guys
I was
in
just
criminal
saying.
cases, Tiger, right? I didn't know what the judge was saying, so I just said, okay, I agree, or no contest, and now you're jammed.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you one thing that I learned, and the more knowledge that you have, I think the more you push yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We did a paternity test, so I'm the father, whatever. But boom, we go down there. She went down there, filed the papers, and put me on child support.
Okay.
So I went to the child support office, and we had a hearing. And I'm telling the hearing officer, like, I'm filing for custody of my son. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Right.
So she looked for a minute. She looked back over at her, whatever, you know what I mean? She said she couldn't put me on child support.
Because it's a pending action.
Because it was a pending action.
That's when I was on earlier.
You know what I mean?
You're supposed
Right.
to be in here.
You know what I mean? She could not put me. She said that she would not put me on child support
Okay.
because, as a black man, I'm fighting for my child.
Right.
You know what I mean? So now
Any man that would
my
do that
chest
was
is out.
unmarried.
I feel like I done won something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Right.
in the jungle.
Yeah, you came back and told me
You know
that.
what I mean?
too.
And I'm saying I'm like, man, listen, you know, I'm winning. You know what I mean? In my head, you know what I mean? In my head, I'm winning.
And that's all.
You know what I mean?
it takes.
And that's all it took to push me. You know what I mean? To know that when I go to court, I ain't fit
You
pay
can
this
win.
lawyer now. You know
You
what I
can
mean?
win.
You know what I mean? It's a lot of things that, listen, I'm just getting started.
Okay.
Because now I know that it's some flaws. Child support is unconstitutional.
Well, hold
You know what I
on.
mean?
It's constitutional. It's the process.
To what point? To what point? You know what I mean?
It's not that the child support is unconstitutional, nor that child support is a fraud, because fraud in the state of Florida has to be pled with specificity, and you all can look that up, meaning you have to state exactly what makes it a fraud, not to mention fraud can only be orchestrated by an officer of the court. So, but that's not legal advice. You all look it up. Don't believe me. Look it up for yourself.
Let me jump in real quick. Let me ask Russ, did you start out with an attorney?
Did I start out with an attorney? No.
Okay. All right.
Really?
No.
Oh, I know how you got it. Okay, I know how you can. Okay. But here's something else I wanted to say also. All we know is that the mother may have went and applied for benefits. The mother's application for benefits in and of itself does not entitle her to anything from you. The only thing that the application for benefits would do is establish whether or not she was entitled to the benefits.
But I mean, you say that because you have that
Now,
knowledge.
everybody who listens to this
I
download,
understand what you.
But who
now they
supplies
having
the
that-
benefits?
Huh?
But who supplies the benefits?
The federal government. And you can go look at Blessing versus Freestone, because the only agreement may be between the state and the federal government. The federal government allows the states broad discretion to run a program. Now, once they run the program, the mother is not even a party to the case. She's a C. A and B, federal, state. C, not a party to the case. And by the way, you have to have some onions to want to go back in and say, I know what you've done to me now, which is where these guys know where I am now, Russ. Hey, now I know where I am.
I'm coming.
You can take the look off your face, and we finna get it in.
I don't.
And they
I
can
just
probably also listening to the audios. I think that would help people too.
I just don't have that fear anymore.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I just don't have I don't have the fear.
Do
Like,
you, Russ?
There is no unknown. No, it's
what I mean?
Once you break,
you go in there, it's like Batman.
Just like even me coming here today,
Okay.
it's just to soak up the knowledge. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because I'm preparing myself for a bigger battle.
Right.
You know, back pay. Can't get no passport.
Allegedly.
Well, I'm just saying,
Okay.
allegedly,
61.1354.
back pay. I can't go nowhere.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And that may be improper.
It is improper.
There we go.
You know what I mean? So it's a lot of things that you will like see. Once that's like a shark. You know what I mean?
Change blood. You smell
Takes
blood.
the blood. You know what I mean? And,
Yeah.
and you know what I mean. So I'm all
blood
in.
in the water.
You know, I don't feel like I gotta settle. You know, and
You
this situation with the case. You know, me and my son and his mother, whatever. It started off. You know what I mean? Real bad.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
God, yeah.
In the end, I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It had got
Yeah.
crazy. You know what I mean?
Okay.
At the end of the day, I had them for years. They filed said they set a court hearing because she filed something. They never served me.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
1.070.
I missed the
process
court
service,
date, so when I
Florida.
missed that court date,
Florida.
you know what I mean? They gave her
Makeup.
makeup time. You know what I mean? Gave her makeup time for the time, and then it was just all this was going on with a pandemic.
Oh, yeah.
What was happening?
Yeah.
Okay.
You feel
wow.
me?
Oh man.
So it's like we having these video courses, and then they changing the judges that he don't know nothing about this case. It ain't like I can present paperwork.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's we on Zoom.
Right.
You know what I mean? With a judge don't know anything about the case, so he gave her makeup time.
Okay.
I can't win. You know, that doubt came back to me.
Right.
But then I said, no, I'm gonna fix this.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But during the process that she had the makeup time, you know, and all the fighting that we were doing back and forth, you know what I mean, for custody, you know what I mean, it was weighing, you know, it was unpredictable how things was gonna go.
Okay.
But now, I guess everything worked out. She knew that I was gonna keep fighting. She knew that I wasn't gonna give up. You listen.
But you from the street, you a fighter anyway, so I mean that goes without saying.
Exactly.
No,
So,
Tiger's a fighter. Don't matter where he's from, because a lot of guys from the street.
But Russ a fighter too. They both fighters.
That's in the character.
Right.
That's in the
You know
character.
what I mean? But no, this is me, because my mind say, if I got to get an attorney, then I already know it's gonna be an all-nighter. You know what I mean? I'm on the block. I'm answering all calls. You know what I mean? I
get it.
Yes, sir. You know what I mean? I'm doing what I got to do. You know what I mean? But at the turnaround, man, this situation with me becoming more knowledgeable, because now I don't need an attorney. You know, as before I go to the courtroom, I start preparing myself.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then I think she started realizing, like, he don't even have an attorney in here. You know what I mean? But how does he know this? You know what I mean? But the time sharing, when they gave her the makeup time, you know.
How does that makeup time work?
Well,
Depends on your situation and what the order
So
states.
what they did in my case was, I had them 1 week, she had them 1 week, so she kept them the weeks that I was supposed to have them. She ended up keeping them for those weeks.
Okay.
And, it ended up, it was unfair. You know what I mean? But like I said, the pandemic was going on. You know what I mean? So it ain't like I could file no paperwork. Court's closed. You know what I mean? So, but through that time, man, you know what I mean? Like the bitterness started to fade. It started to fade away.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Now my son's over there. I got to communicate with her, because I want to know how he doing.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't want everything that I instilled in him, the yes sir, yes ma'am, to just be thrown out the window.
Right.
Now he go and he know here you go.
Right.
Get suspended from school from back talking to the teacher and all that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we are actually on good terms now.
That's
you know what I mean?
good.
Like it built a relationship that I never foresee. You know what I mean? I never.
Well,
I
know
never,
you can fight. Anybody that knows you can fight. A bully knows you hit him in the mouth. He may not want to bully. And that's kind of how it works.
That's true.
I think and it affects the child, because I think that the communication between the
Parents is
the
essential.
parents.
And
you know
that's,
what I mean?
and that's what I actually help
is-
guys fight for. I really say we need to be able to communicate, and that's essential, because both parents are desperately needed, particularly in this environment we got out here now, bro. I don't even know what's going on out here anymore.
Definitely.
The streets
Crazy
ain't even
world.
the same no more.
Crazy work, like I said, but then you don't want the streets raising your children either.
Streets don't even want money no more.
Yeah.
No, and it's crazy.
It ain't like, and that's why I say it's so
There's no-
crazy now.
Yeah.
To come up, and I moved out here in 1989, and I mean Tampa
Hey, how old is you?
was jumping.
Keep waking up.
Keep waking up. I mean, like I say, Tampa was jumping, and I just remember just how the flow. It was money. It was money all over the city. I'm talking about the scams. I'm talking about 1989, 1990.
Yeah, it was
money.
different kind of money.
See, me and him talk about this all the time.
Okay.
I was telling him, like, it was an era when we was getting money.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about
yeah,
that.
no doubt.
It was running from the police, jumping gates, you know what I mean, on the block all night, sleeping all day. You know what I mean? It was like routine.
I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna say that, and I know you probably can relate to it. And we have a conversation. Now I want to tell too much.
Right.
But when crack was in the city, you had $1 million rock holes. Okay, I'm talking about million. I ain't talking about, and I'm talking about dimes, dubs, 50s, and packs. That's it.
Yeah.
So I ain't talking about they breaking the whole thing. I'm talking about nickel and diamond.
Right.
And I just remember and I'm just throwing, because I used to be in the Pines. Right on 48. You might have anywhere from 60 to 70 dudes. When the fair come, everybody post up at
because
what's the Masters Inn.
Yeah,
Because when they get off work,
the carnies gonna come see you.
they coming.
Carnies are coming.
That's what I'm saying. So you can't tell me, but I think
And I'm only going by the stories I've heard, by the way. But go ahead.
Right, what I'm just saying, but it like Tiger said, it was like that. You know what I'm saying? So money, and then wasn't nobody getting killed.
That was a different era.
Wasn't nobody get killed by no money, because wasn't nobody telling.
No, the rules
Wasn't
are
about
different.
no woman. So it was,
Rules are
enough, it was enough money for everybody. And then also with that, it was more of a gentleman's game. Hustle, because see,
Absolutely.
back in I'm just give you a perfect example. If Tiger was in Port Tampa and I was in Highland Pines, I ain't coming to Port Tampa to trap.
No need to be
Tiger
there.
ain't coming to Highland Pines to trap. But see, nowadays, my baby mama stay in Port Tampa. I'm finna go over here and put down.
Right.
My auntie stay over here. I'm finna go over here and set up.
That's gonna be a problem.
But that's what I'm saying. But back in the day, it was enough. Everybody had their J's. So what about, well, I'm finna go, I can go here, go there, this where you trapped at. And that's where it was. So like Tiger talk about being on the block 2-3 days.
Well, but there's a way that we coach. If I talk to Russ, it's gonna probably be about basketball. If I talk to Tiger, maybe about something else. If I talk to other guys, it's gonna be about something else. Whatever I can find that may be able to help you relate.
It's relatable. Yeah.
And and I think that
That's what good coaches do, though.
Well, we got some guys you can yell at. Some guys you got to put your arm around. And say, "Son, need better." And some.
No, man.
He yelled at everybody.
Man, off the rip.
I be trying to tell him, man. He be like, man, hey, man. I said, no, listen to yourself sometime, bro. I said, bro, you be tripping.
Man, it's okay. You Bobby Knight, man. It's
Yeah.
okay, man.
Throw a check. Yeah, you out there throw a check. Yeah, he'll do that. Yeah.
Well, it's and here's the other thing is I want guys to know this out there because there's, I'm not battling one person or anything. I just say my receipts speak for themselves, and I'm proud that you were able to get these guys to come in because these are just two of the many.
Definitely.
And but the thing is, fancy words. There are no abracadabras in court. It's a process, and it's not just the process itself. It's preparing yourself to go in there, being knowledgeable, and also the biggest thing is everything that these guys do is not for while you're sitting in front of them. What's your favorite? What's the big old word I say? If you don't know anything else, what are you supposed to say? If you don't agree with the guy.
Object.
Objection, but yeah.
Yeah.
And we can clean it up later.
Yeah.
Right. Because you have to set yourself up for appeals. And oddly enough, that's why I'm here on May 9th, is because of.
Because you objected.
Well, because there's not only that I'm setting myself up for appeal, there's an appellate process. And if you don't know the appellate process, some guys think you die in the circuit court or the lower level court. And I think tell the guys is no, prepare for the next stage. But that's where you also get into the heavier money when it comes to an attorney. So, which I do recommend people get legal assistance.
I mean, and like it's come all down to what I was saying, like the streets, and the money, and see everything gonna change now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely.
I told Dawson one night, I said, man, when I was on the streets, I didn't have no time to be reading and shit, you know what I mean? But like
nobody trying to get that down.
But now it's like, now I'm getting older.
Right.
I'm maturing.
Right.
I was in transition of pulling myself out the street.
Right.
So with me trying to make the transition from leaving the streets alone and I think this what more made me fight for my son at that time too, because I knew me fighting for him had to change my whole surroundings.
Right.
You know what I mean? How I live, you know what I mean? How you trap, how you, it changed the game.
You do stuff. Absolutely.
You feel me? I can't.
Yeah.
I got my son with me.
I can't do nothing right now. I can't do nothing right now.
My house was a scribble pole in the garage, you know what I mean? And we hanging out drinking, you know what I mean?
Who said we for you?
What happened? Oh yeah. Hey, so you know what I mean? Like my partners would come to my house, shoot pool and everything, you know what I mean? When I started fighting cussing for my son,
Yeah, you could.
open the garage, pool table gone. You know what I mean? Ain't no more hanging out, ain't no more popping up, ain't no, you know what I mean? It changed me, and it also helped me pull myself out the streets because I knew at any time if I get jammed up, he go back to her.
And then something else too. It's a lot different.
You know what I mean?
It's a lot different doing time at 20 compared to doing time at 40.
Man, you better know it.
I'm telling you. You know what I'm saying? So I tell people all the time, like if you out here taking chances
You
and
better know it, Tiger.
if you in your early 50s, late 40s, and you out here taking these chances, man, that's crazy.
Game over.
Yeah, it is. Been over.
It's game over.
Been over.
I would agree.
That's why I say, I just think it's very important that you whatever you got going, your children got to be first.
Right.
Well, even you putting yourself first, because I wanted to say this because I don't want to lose sight of it because I do have a case I'm getting ready to file, but I'd like to have an attorney to do it. And a couple of ones I've talked to.
Okay, I got one more. Wait a minute. I got Marcus Reed. How can I get in touch with y'all? I study civil rights, self-taught, and I'm currently fighting my 3 child support cases I was just incarcerated for.
Incarcerated for? You can go to www.gregdoss.com, or you can call me on the number everybody has. And by the way, people, anybody who knows me, you can give out the number because it's on the website. So it's 813-570.
I'm about to post it on my
Yeah,
page.
Torre just put it right on cue. Look at Torre right on cue. Say it again.
813-570-9617.
Cell phone.
The
Local number 2.
Right. Well,
Email gdnapsy@gmail.com. That's
It's not a secret.
napsc@gmail.com.
And I'm going to tell you this. I think there's a lot of guys that, and what I really hope to happen on the 9th, and they're probably listening, I don't care. I was about to do something. I saw Trader. I was about to send them a signal, but there's a lot more going on than me reversing the case.
The bat signal? What kind of signal
Hey, man, you know I do not like these people.
Who knows, man?
Well, they know how it's me and Stone Cold. Same thing to you people, because I know what you've done to so many men for so many years. And oddly enough, my case boils down to jurisdiction. It's real simple. They missed 120. They missed 120 days, Russ. That's it. What happens after 120 days if you don't serve the initial complaint on the defendant?
Gone.
Okay.
For over 20 years, I've gone to jail for this, getting arrested for driving out license, and all those cases were tied to this issue. And I don't recommend anybody do this, but I could be Nelson Mandela on principle, and Heavy will tell you that. If I was willing to take a bullet for this country, you got to be out of your mind and think I ain't gonna fight for myself.
Amen.
So
Respect.
this is what we got, guys. The Department of Revenue and by the way, Ashley Moody, you know, and so does Ron DeSantis, because I've already sent you notice that you all have we lost our backdrop.
No, go ahead. You do your thing.
They're more than noticed that the state of Florida has been improperly enforcing an order, and that was what it was. Not only did you not file it within the 120 days, you amended the complaint without permission from the court, without showing good cause, and didn't serve the complaint for a total of 4 years. So what if even 1% of the guys in the state of Florida for the last, almost nearly 30 years have that issue? How many cases are subject to be reversed immediately?
Wow.
So
you break it down like that, man. It makes you think.
And this is just the easiest due process issue. But these guys have already brought up other issues that I think guys should go back and look at. Did they give you an evidentiary hearing to establish how much money you could pay? Whenever your license was suspended, they give you a brand new hearing and make a determination that your present ability to pay was what they claimed it was, because at each and every interval, you're entitled to that. And there's so much more out there. I don't want to get into that. I want to get into what's going to happen, who ain't going to get fired.
Let's wait before we get out of here, man. 'Cause I know we
on the Wingstop.
Yeah, we definitely gonna hit that.
Okay.
Let me let Tiger and Russ give y'all shout outs to anybody.
Absolutely, and I appreciate y'all too for coming on, man.
Appreciate y'all coming on, man.
I appreciate y'all having me, man.
Yeah, definitely. Cause I know Russ said he had a couple things he had to take care of, and then when you said Tiger, I said, yeah, we definitely get him in here.
Don't forget that shirt. And by the way, I like the shirt, Mrs. Newton.
Oh, Eddie House, you be.
I'll make sure I get one of them shirts, man. I like them real snazzy shirts.
We got him. I give it y'all after the show. Okay, we'll give it y'all after that. Tiger, any shout out you want to get? I know you old school, so it don't tell
me.
Man, you know
You
this.
might go East Lake Mall, Copeland Park, Block Park. Now you doing too much, Luda.
Yeah.
Don't incriminate nobody now. You doing too much. Ace. Yeah, you doing too much. Yeah, so. But like I said, before we get out of here, man, we got to definitely keep the groceries coming. Shout out to my man, Mike E. Tree down there at Conan, downtown Carver City.
University of Jefferson Country.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, 813-870-040 for his
Every show.
Every show is a Jefferson plug.
Y'all coffee drinkers, I got to drop some coffee off to y'all.
Hell yeah, let's get into that. I know
Hey,
y'all
I actually have some. Yeah, that's right.
Tell people what you got going on, Russ.
Man, King's Coffee USA, man. If y'all drink coffee, y'all need to tap in with me. I got the
Even if
best
you don't
coffee
drink it,
going.
support them because it's black business.
Yeah,
the best
definitely.
coffee.
Him and old Meat got that going.
King's Coffee is a
King's
website.
Coffee USA. www.kingscoffeeusa.com.
It's K-I-N-G-Z.
Website?
Yes, sir. Yes,
King's
sir.
Coffee. Yeah, we definitely got to get you a Meat back on here, man.
Yeah,
Talk about
man.
that coffee.
Man, he
I
was just
forgot
calling
about
me.
it.
He was just
For
calling
real?
me. Yeah.
Shout out to my man Meat, man. Fort Myers, stand up, my dude.
They're moving that coffee like cocaine. That would come from Colombia now.
There you go. Now he come
Don't
for
say
somebody.
it.
Don't put that in the atmosphere.
There you go. Just ruin the show. Ruin the show for
Torrey
everybody.
shake his head. He just
ruin the show for everybody. We all have a pleasant
It's
conversation.
three things that's addictive.
We
Is sugar, cocaine and coffee.
But I be trying to tell y'all, if you watch
Women.
the pivot, that's Channing Crowder.
Caffeine.
He the wild card. He always you just be real careful. Like dogs, you can't know a dog be a dog complaint, but he always gonna be the wild card. He gonna say something crazy.
Oh, you say he beat Martin?
Yeah, that's him.
Did you give shout outs to Tiger though?
I mean, just to any black man, just need to come a little more knowledgeable, of what's going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Our rights. You know
definitely,
what I mean?
You
Our
better do it
rights.
soon.
Yeah. I mean, it's I just think that we all need to be a little more knowledgeable. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And I guess it go from how I would say, man, applying ourselves.
Right.
You know what I mean? To become more knowledgeable.
Right.
You know, we don't always. I think that with me, it's been my mouthpiece, and I'm thinking that it's
phone right here.
they mouthpiece. You know what I mean? That's gonna get me justice. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I think that once we all start, man, preparing ourselves, man, before the court. Don't wait till you get to the court. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's too
Start
late.
preparing yourself.
Don't give me no last
before the
minute
court.
calls, people.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And I just think that, man, we all got to stand up. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Stand up, man.
Greg, if I never told you, man, I appreciate you. I
Oh, no
appreciate you
doubt.
standing up in the hole,
No
taking
doubt.
them licks for us.
Yes, sir.
Man, I understand that's why you're so passionate about it, man. You took the licks for us. And
Rough finna cut up all this week, man.
Yeah.
They done gave him flowers on. He finna cut up, man.
Yeah.
I'm actually a little bit touched. It was never me, and trust me, if I could get back what I lost, I would do it in an instance because that relationship I can never get back. And I go so hard because I don't want anybody to go through what I had to go through watching my boy go through what he went through.
No doubt.
And I will fight hard forever.
And our last sponsor, we definitely gotta give them some love, man. We hearing that now. Wingstop on
Turn the cup around, man.
Yeah, listen, and this don't go to the one on 22nd of Hills, bro. Don't go to the one in Brandon. Don't go to the one in Sefler.
We don't know about
Marcus
that.
McCamp. They got 4 locations: 23 or 41, 48, State Road 54. Down there, that's about an outlet mall.
Yeah,
so
you
go
got-
check them out. 813-705-9464.
Need my glasses?
No, I'm good. I can see, bro.
Definitely gonna pull up
Then we got
support.
1219 Bruce B. Downs, 813-536-0222. I can count. I ain't no criminal, dog. Y'all keep trying me, man. I'm one to get fired over anyway. Well, we heading tonight, 93 05 North 56th Street, 813-373-5174. And headquarters where it all started, 2776 North Fowler,
Hey, Mark, I need another shirt.
903-9464.
Oh, man. Daryl trying to talk take two.
We finna get some of this good NBA in, man. So we ain't gonna keep y'all up tour in. We gotta get out of here. So thanks to those that watch the show tonight, and I always do before I get out of here, man. Anybody want to be an artist? Don't want to see the executive producers,
Hey,
all the
audience
videos, all the records, dancing, come to Death Row. WEDZ's in the building, man. July 1st, we're gonna change the game. So for Days City, Ruff, special
What
guest,
up?
my man Trey. Trey, you
all
want to
you
come on and say
funky
something,
baby
Trey?
mamas.
Trey, you want to come wave to the people before we get out of here?
Trey, come here.
Just come and get in the front. He come get right in the front.
Right here. Come right
Right in the
here.
middle.
Say what's up.
No.
Say what's up right now.
There you go.
Back
Say
up,
what's
son,
up.
Trey. Back up,
Back up, Trey.
Back up, Trey.
Trey, come
Come stand
stand
right
right
here.
here.
No, come over
Come this way. There you go. Yeah, tell them.
Clean your face. Yeah, there you go. Now
There you go.
tell
Say
them
what's
what's
up.
up.
Tell them
Say
so
what's
long,
up.
y'all. Say so long, y'all.
All right,
What
so
say,
for Tanya
what's up?
Russ, we
What's
finna
up?
get out of
What's
here,
up?
man. And my man Torred doing this thing as normal.
He ain't on that.
Keep God first, love your family. When you see us, holler. We'll catch y'all next Monday. Y'all be good. Good night.
Peace.
sir.
Trey, you know.